welcome to another episode of Untangled, your knitting and sometimes crochet question and answer show with me, Stuart from the Wool Patch.
And me, Jimmy from Jimmy Does Knitting.
Good to see you again, Jimmy. Height of summer now, and there's me in my finished vest top and Jimmy still in his jumpers. Look at that. I love
Yep. Worsted weight too.
It's mid-August and it's still beautiful here, and I'm in the finished tank top that we talked about last week from the cocky crocheter Kelly. I test crocheted this. The pattern is out now. Go and buy it. It's a fabulous simple vest top with 4 crochet stitches. In UK terms, it's the double, it's the half treble, the treble and the double treble, and it's just repeat. And I am absolutely loving it. Crochet vests, are they the new thing, Jimmy, do you think?
I really like them, especially for men. We don't have enough crochet vests out there.
Yeah, well, the cocky crocheter Kelly, he's loving it so much that he's doing another one, which I am test crocheting as we speak. If you want to see more of that, skip to last week's episode, which I think is episode 20, and then scroll to the end where we have our little chat, because I was talking about it and showing it off. So there we are. Right, but we're here for your questions, aren't we? Let's go straight into it. Question 1. Oops. No, let's try again. Question 1 from Bertus. Good to see you again, Bertus. Always giving us a question. Right, he says, this may be a 2-parter. Brioche. For a 2-parter, probably a 5-parter, isn't it, with Brioche? 10-parter. Mm-hmm. I did it once and kind of never want to do it again, but love its look. Many people would say the same, Bertus. I know it's one of those some really love and some really don't. What are your opinions? Can you help with understanding the anatomy and technique of brioche, and then how to fix drop stitches and mistakes? Oh, blimey, that might take forever, Bertus. Let's start with the beginning. It is something that people love and hate. Jimmy, what are your opinions of brioche?
Oh, I'm a brioche lover. I have a project right here next to me of brioche that I am currently working on. So I'm a big fan, but I have my preferences for it and I have my, I guess they like non-preferences for it. What about you?
I have done it twice. I did it on a beanie hat, and I did it last year for Stephen West's Mystery Knit Along, and I loved it. I love the squishy nature that it gives. I didn't enjoy doing it as much on the shawl as I did for the hat, because what I love about the beanie hat is that I used a solid yarn and a variegated yarn. So the solid yarn was all the V's that you often associate with brioche on the top. And when I wore the beanie hat, because it's slightly stretchy, almost like a rib too, it opened up the variegated prettiness in between. And I'm like, this works so well. So I would definitely do it again in a hat form. Doing it in the shawl form, what I found originally was you've got to be careful with colours as well, because I chose 2 solid colours. I had white and blue, and it worked better one way than the other. But I much more, I think, preferred doing it in a hat. Also, it was a smaller amount of stitches. But yeah, I love it. I can see the appeal of it. I don't think I would do it all the time, though. It's just like, I feel like doing something special. I'm going to do some brioche.
Okay. Very interesting. So I personally love brioche, but I like a 1-color brioche, and I specifically like a 1-color brioche flat. Like that is like one of my favorite things to knit. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. I have examples.
Yeah, that will help. Yeah. I've
this
not
is
seen
my
a 1
current
colour.
Yeah, this is my current whip.
Oh, that's your scarf.
It's just a scarf.
Yeah.
It's just a scarf. I cast on, I think it was 51 stitches and am just knitting until I run out of yarn. And so the good thing about this is with the one color brioche, there are no purls. One color brioche flat, there are no purls. And so it's brioche knit, slip, brioche knit, slip, brioche knit, slip. And then you turn around and then those purls on the, the slip stitches, which would be the purls on the front side, are now the knit stitches on the back side. So you don't have to do any purls with the brioche. The brioche knit flat in one color, and I think it's fantastic. I think that's my favorite. So
that's brilliant.
That is one way to do it, one color. Now, you can also do it in the round. This was a top-down sweater, the Wind Whistles by Les Garçons. This is all over brioche. In the round, there's some increases and decreases, which are, fine, but you can do it in the round. And what you do is you do the knits one round and then the purls another round. And knits one round and the purls another round. Now, what you did is two-color brioche. And so two-color brioche, I think, is what we normally think of when we think of brioche because, like you said, when you expand it, you can see that part in the behind. So in this case, it's white. It doesn't necessarily telegraph so much, but if you look at the back, you can tell that it was white on the back and yellow in the front. Yes. Now this is also intarsia on top of it, so it's it's more
just
involved.
To make it a little bit more challenging.
But you can see the right here the contrast that Stuart was talking about. So like you can really get like this beautiful purple in the front with the white contrasting in the back. And so most people that knit brioche do a two-color brioche because of that contrast, and you can have like really fun play with color and ways to go about that. So there's, I guess, different levels and styles of brioche. Now, this particular scarf is by Anna Hausman. I don't remember the name of it. But she does amazing intarsia stuff, but this is also intarsia and brioche. But what I'm trying to say is there's also stuff with like a bunch of shaping, and you can get these beautiful like leaf patterns or other things. There's some really prolific brioche shawl knitters out there where you can get some like amazing patterns with this contrast and showing it off and making sure that that's really good. So that's sort of like a very quick way of looking at and thinking of brioche. So what's the second part? Some people really love it.
Well, Berta says, what are your opinions? We talked about that. Can you help with understanding the anatomy and technique of brioche? Ideally, Bertus, we'd have a whole session. Maybe we'll do it in the winter. We'll have a whole Untangled where we just talk about brioche and we can have some samples on our needles ready. I've been too busy out in the garden to knock some up, Bertus. But ideally, that's what would be nice to do, where we could see it happening live. But the anatomy, it is those two stitches. We've talked about this before with the fisherman's rib, haven't we? It's this idea of this squishy fabric.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
So what it is it's sort of like a regular stitch and then a stitch with a scarf, and then a regular stitch and a stitch with a scarf.
Yeah.
Right?
It's got like chucking it up.
Exactly. And so it creates this double stitch. So each one of these knit stitches is essentially 2 stitches, and then on the other side it's 2 stitches. So that creates this like sort of interwoven elaborate fabric where on one side it's like a yarn over and a stitch knit together, and then it's just another stitch next to it. So it's all these yarn overs and stitch knit together that create this like squishy, lovely brioche style fabric. I will say the easiest way to do brioche is one color flat. If you want to kind of get into it and get to learn it and how to fix it, I remember watching one of your things a while ago. I think it was during the Go-Go Dynamo days, where you're like, always fix brioche on the right side, on the knit side, which is not something I always do, but like it's a very helpful tip.
Where you see the V's, absolutely, because it's just easier to pull it up and through for sure. Yeah, that is well remembered.
It makes it easier to visualize. Yeah, no, I still think about it. I haven't made many mistakes on this, but when I do, it's like, all right, turn it out to the right side and make sure that I do it that way. So yeah, I mean, I would suggest doing something simple and then seeing if you like it, and then you can go more elaborate, because there are some very elaborate brioche patterns. But it's not for everybody. Like, I don't like lace. I think I've done it like once or twice and I've ripped up both projects. So if it's not for you, that's fine. You don't have to be doing brioche.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of crafting, isn't it? You have a go, and you know pretty sharpish if it's not for you. I was saying to my mate last week, because we were talking about October and the new mystery knit along, that it'll come out soon because we're in August. We'll start be picking our yarns in September. And I said I loved it last year, but that's because I liked what I was doing. Week 1 this year could be hideous, and I've got no problem with saying, that's it, I'm out, I'm not doing it, because you do know, don't you, if you're enjoying something. And I'm one of those that will just stop. I won't persevere. I've got some friends who, with reading books, Jimmy, they don't like the book they're reading, but they still carry on reading it. What is that? Are you one of those?
That, man.
No, you just stop reading it if you didn't like the book, would you?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And I'm like that with knitting. It's like you do know if you enjoy this type of technique, or if you can do it again. So Bertus, do find something that makes you go wow first of all, but probably the scarf might be a good one to start with. I started with a hat because that was small enough for me to get my head around it. But I chose the hat because the designer, I went, oh wow, that looks so cool, because it was specifically solid colour and a variegated colour. And of course I've got a yarn shop, so I just chose, it was double knit merino, and I had a solid merino, and I had the fabulous Adriafil, the Italian brand, with their knit coal, a very famous double knit in the knitting world for a commercial yarn, and I just paired the two together, and it was beautiful. Do you know, I should have got it really, so it's downstairs in my not very big hat bin or knitting bin that you've got, Jimmy. How many hats have you got in there, did you say?
I think I have 12 hats. I have so much stuff in that bin. If you know me in real life, please contact me for a knit item, because you should come to my house and take it. Go on. I was going to say, you bring up a great point. Get yarn that you like. You know, like, especially if it's just a hat, which I think is pretty approachable and easy. There are a couple designers that have some big hats or some easy scarves. Get yarn that you enjoy, play around with it, do something that has very low commitment, and just try it if you're curious. If you're not curious, then that's also fine.
Because the solid colour and the variegated would look fabulous with your basic scarf pattern that you're doing, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Jonathan Tallow has a couple of really good basic brioche that's 2 colors, that's pretty approachable. I would recommend that as a good searching point. I modified one of his last year, and I did it in 1 color, and I gave that away, and I regret almost giving it away. It was beautiful. So, I mean, there are certainly things out there, and just make it fun for yourself. Make it a way for you to enjoy and play and explore and just like try things out. And if you don't like it, you can rip it out. It's fine.
Yeah. I'll do a little shout out to one of our viewers and commenters on Untangled on YouTube, Sam Grant 83. Often comments on our videos on YouTube, Jimmy, and has a wealth of knowledge seems to be superb at knitting, knows so much. And I'm looking at her comment on our Brioche episode, and talked about Italian bind off, and then says, I've made a few Nancy Marchant brioche shawls in mohair. Oh,
Oof, Nancy Marchant.
yeah.
Is my one of my all-time favorites. I love her. I want to be her best friend. She is the queen of brioche. She's the person that actually like developed the terminology for it in the 80s. So your burp and bark or whatever that is, that was Nancy Marchant.
Yeah.
So she has a couple of brioche books that has stitches that you can play with of like different types of brioche, and she really goes into it. And she has some patterns online. Some are more approachable than others, but huge, great resource for brioche. She doesn't do it anymore, and she's so over it. But she's fantastic. I love her.
Oh, wow. Oh, see, look, I think you and Sam are in the same category. You know your stuff. And thanks for that comment, Sam. And you've left some wonderful comments over the shows, and we are really grateful because it helps people when they're watching. I always go to the comments. It's fascinating to see what people write and the extra information. So you develop the content and the value of that content more, Sam. So really grateful. She carries on and says, I assume there, I apologise there, could be he, because Sam could be he. The sort of kid silk mohair, although it's fluffy, it does have a very strong spun core of silk, and I've never had the yarn break. Oh, well, that's because we were talking about the Italian bind off there, weren't we? So look, you've got a tip from Sam too. So I do thoroughly enjoy looking at the comments and what you leave, Sam, as well as all our viewers. But there you go, Bertus. I hope that helps. So then maybe, Bertus, why don't you do that? Okay, over September, have a think, start it, and then when maybe we'll do a one-off on brioche, you can send us in your pictures. Is that a deal? Can you hear him say yes, Jimmy, all the way from
Of course.
New York?
I'm sure he'll DM me on Instagram because he does that every once in a while about it.
Brilliant. Yes. Okay, next question. Oh, Jane. Good to see you again, Jane, from New York. Oh, there's quite a few of us in the New York area writing questions. It is so hot this year, and I am loving making the scrap yarn blanket known as the jelly roll blanket. I originally was going to connect the panels as the pattern is written, join as you go. I decided to make up the whole panels, then either sew them together, slip stitch them together, or single crochet them together. It is also more portable, so I can work on it wherever I wish. That is very true. Yeah, I have seen that. My question is, how do I figure out how much single colour yarn I will need to finish off my blankets? I think I would like the texture of a single crochet to join together the panels. Is there a formula to use? I think the West Yorkshire Spinner's Bird jelly roll blanket, I will follow the pattern. Oh yes, maybe that's right. Making it in the winter will keep me warm while I knit. Yes. Jimmy, do you know the jelly roll blanket? Have you seen it?
I do. It appears to be a very popular pattern online. Yeah. It's great for especially I think those sock knitters that have those weird quantities of fingering weight yarn. And I think the pattern also comes in DK and fingering. Yeah. If I'm correct.
Yeah, and it's this idea of just garter stitch, isn't it? And you're just knitting, and you've done your first. They've used the term jelly roll from the quilting world, where we have 2.5-inch strips, and they're called jelly rolls. 2.5-inch strips of fabric. Well, this is what you're creating in your knitting. And as Jane says there, the pattern, you do one, and then you start with your second one, seaming it and knitting, and then you're adding more and more and more. So I can understand why Jane says there, can't you, Jimmy, that doing them separately would make it more portable, because you just do strip after strip after strip after strip, and then when you're ready you would sew them together. Any ideas on which one would look best? Slip stitch, single crochet or sew? I think I've got an opinion. What would you say?
I think I would crochet it personally if I am doing it later, because I've seen the blanket and I know kind of what they're talking about. I probably would use a crochet hook. What about you?
Absolutely, yeah. I would use some sort of slip stitch technique where I go into the one leg of the V on one side, one leg of the V the other side, almost like how I actually crocheted this together, because I had a seam down here, and that's exactly what I did there. Jane, I think you would just play around with that and what leg you would go in, or if you go under both legs. But I would have thought if you went under both legs of each, you'll end up with a bulky seam. So I would just go under one leg, pull, one leg, and then work your way up. Or a slip stitch with your crochet, see how that would work. It is in essence the same. It's whether you want that nice V to show up on the front, flat center like that, or whether it doesn't bother you. But I agree, Jimmy. I think that would be the best one. And probably more enjoyable. Sitting at the sewing machine. Oh, it depends on how much you like sewing.
Sewing could be quick.
Yeah. But then, if you did sewing, Jane, you haven't got that question of how much yarn you need. That's the, what is it? What's the program called? The $1 million question? I can't remember. Something like that, isn't it? How much yarn would you need and how would you calculate it? There's no formula. Well, there is a basic formula, I suppose. In my head, I'm using this yarn to slip stitch one row together. I would weigh that yarn first. So we put it on the scales and it weighs 10 grams. Slip stitch up however long your first panel is, and then weigh that ball again. And then if it's, how many did I say, 10 grams? If it's 8 grams, you know you use 2 grams of yarn for each column. And then you, however many columns you've got, you times it by that, so you get a rough idea of how many grams of yarn you need. That would be my way of doing it. What do you think, Jimmy?
I think that was one of my ideas. The other idea is, because this is such a popular pattern, I'm wondering if somebody on Ravelry put it in the notes, because I'm sure that does. I don't know how to filter specifically for that, because there are probably thousands of projects on Ravelry, also with some joining I don't know, some people joining as they go. So I don't know exactly how you would find that, but maybe somebody has that information in the Ravelry notes. But yours, I think, is a little bit quicker and more accurate than going through 1,000 projects on Ravelry potentially.
But there is something nice about scrolling through a couple of pages on Ravelry of that pattern where you go to, I can't remember the tab, where you click on it and it shows everyone's makes, and there's normally a picture and a little bit of their writing, and you can click for view more and it will take you to their page where you can read more of their notes. I just like looking at the pictures going, oh wow, that's a different idea, oh that's a nice idea. It really is a great resource, isn't it, Jimmy?
I think it is. I do that with some patterns that I see out. I've been using Ravelry less and less because I'm less interested in knitting other people's patterns, but sometimes if I'm looking for yarn or for certain things, I go and I have a little peek to see what testers have done or what some people have done, and I love seeing the difference and the variation in the different techniques, and sometimes the tester version will be what really inspires me for something else. Yeah. So it's good to maybe have a rummage around Ravelry regardless.
Yeah. I sometimes say to myself, well, Stuart, you need to put your notes up on Ravelry, because I know I love reading other people's notes. So technically I should give something back because I can see how important it is. But that's just another job, isn't it?
My Ravelry is out of date at the moment. I usually only put like bigger makes on there, and I need to upload some photos that I've taken for stuff, but maybe I have to publish a pattern, 2 patterns this month, so maybe I'll do that then.
Oh God, you're going to be busy then. You're going to be busy. But yes, Ravelry. When you do look for certain patterns, go to that page. When you're looking at the pattern, and I forget the tab, but it's somewhere along the top there. I can't remember what it's called. Here, let me just quickly look because that's now going to annoy me. Ravelry. Let's have a look. Log in.
But it says 100 projects, and you click that link.
Oh,
it's
projects.
in the upper right.
Yes, it literally just says projects, doesn't it? That's it. Yeah. And if you're looking at a popular pattern, it will probably then say 1,500.
Sometimes, right?
It'll be like 20 pages to look through, and you've got like 10 to a page. It's a great resource for sure. Okay, there we are, Jimmy. We've only got 2 questions. That's our questions done. We've got no more in the spreadsheet. So if you'd like us to carry on, we would love some more questions. Otherwise, we'll have a little summer holidays, and we'll come back sort of mid-September when it gets cold.
Sounds good.
Send us a question. The link is in the description below. But I just want to finish with looking at some designer wear. All the knit couture houses released their spring-summer runways for 2026, and I love looking at them because I like getting ideas of what the couture houses think will be the fashion next year and the year after, and maybe what fabrics are going to be used or what colours are going to be used. And it's always good to see if the couture houses are doing any crochet or knit. Love it. And I looked at the spring summer for men's 2026, and there were some stunning patterns. So Jimmy, shall we have a look at them?
Yes, please. You know I love a recreation of a knit, of a fashion knit.
Here we have the new, brand spanking new collection from Dior, where Jonathan Anderson is now. You know, the maker behind the Harry Styles cardigan. He's now been snapped up by Dior, and this is his first collection. Look at that knitted top, and more importantly, look at that delightful neck. What a neckline.
I mean, J.W. Anderson, he does fantastic knitwear. He is really good at having collections that are great knitwear. A ton of statement pieces, and then with the Dior flair and what he can do is just, I think, really nice. And I think for this one, it was really cool because wasn't it like little cherries on it or something?
Roses and a petal, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was really nice because it was cables, or that's kind of an Aran-ish jumper, but with just these little embroidery accents. I think it's really nice.
And I'm loving that neckline because it could have just carried on straight, but just to separate that and break that off. Has that got a particular name that we know? What are we calling that?
I don't know. Is that a Henley neck, maybe? I don't know. It's because a lot of what we see in the knit world is largely female focused because that's what sells. So when you see something designed more for a male presenting person, they have these details that we often don't think about in the hand knit world. And it's really great to see that I can just alter the neck slightly and have something that looks quite fashionable but quite traditional. And
then look at those cool cargo shorts. That's a lot of fabric there. I think that's he took some inspiration from early Dior ladies patterns and took some of that extra fabric and translated it into his cargo bats. But doesn't it give a good look? It's a preppy, relaxed look there.
It's a great silhouette.
Right, next one. Oh, look at this for a pattern. Again, this is Dior and Anderson, but I'll make it bigger so we can see. This is like 2-in-1, Jimmy. Look, it's a zip with the white, but the zip isn't a garment on top of the orange. The orange rib is then joined to the zip, and then you've got this fabulous orange collar that's on the white. Isn't that clever?
Right, it's almost like a sweater inside of a jacket, but it's all knit together, and it's really nice, especially with like the blue sort of I-cord separation, and then you have this like deep orange poking through, and it looks just like a jacket on a jacket, and this layering effect is really quite a cool technique, and just like how that is constructed really gets me excited. You know, construction is one thing that I always look for. And I just think it's not incredibly innovative, but it's something we don't see often, and really is, you know, it makes you think about the possibilities of what you really can do.
What amazes me about this, Jimmy, is it is often associated with the older lady, isn't it, knitting? These knitters. Who is knitting for Anderson? Has he got younger people knitting for them? And also, is his design process, has he thought of this and gone, oh, I've got this concept of a jumper under a jacket, but all in one, but I'd like it in knit. And then, right, let's give it to Mrs. Miggins because she can knit. And she's now got the job of turning that design that he's got in his head and sketched down into this knitted pattern. Because that is... I just find mind-blowing how he's thought of that, how he's come up with that idea. Or do you think he went straight away, I want this idea and I want it in knit, no problems?
So the way it works for these couture houses and these people with like big budgets, now this is not a couture collection by any means, but it's also a runway show. So he's the creative director. He's the one that is going to either come up with the concepts directly, or he has like a team of stylists and stuff that come up with a handful of designs and things that they want to do, and then he curates and says, you know, let's change this and let's modify this and make it into its final, like, let's say, design that's written. Now there are two ways that go from here. There are specialists on either way, because this is not like a large manufacturer, you know, commercial knit. So there are either people that hand knit stuff, like Di Gilpin, who knits for La Fetiche, so they can do that and they can put that on the runway. Or there's a team of technicians. So you always see those people with like the white lab coats that are like hand sewing beads to the thing. There's also a version of that of people who like go on a knitting machine, let's say, which is probably most of these were done on a knitting machine, I would say. And they knit on the knitting machine in order to make these patterns and then sort of construct it like that, as opposed to a hand knit, just because it's a little faster usually. So it's one of those two options in order to achieve this specific thing.
Has this inspired you now? Are you thinking, oh, I might design something with this effect? Are you going to do anything like that?
Maybe. I think there are a couple others that inspire me a little bit more, but one of the things I really want to make this year, or I have on my list for this year, is I want to make a jacket. And whether that jacket looks a certain way or not, I don't know. But I like the idea of, well, if I did a jacket like this, then I could also, you know, modify it in order to have this inner layer that looks cozy and that functions differently. So it definitely is something to think about, because what I was looking at, I was going to modify anyway.
This is what I love about looking at what the fashion houses are doing, what ideas you can get, what you can take from them and be influenced by and come up with your own stuff. Let's look at one that I am working with Colin, who lives in my village. We're doing one from Dolce & Gabbana. Have a look at this, Jimmy. Where is... I can't find it now. Is it that one? Oh, no, that's a cardi. Oh, here you go. Look at that.
I know, I really like that.
It's like
simple.
What stitch is that? Is that like 2 yarn overs and dropped?
Exactly. That's all it is it's garter, and then you get some stuff with rows. And I think that I really like that because I need something that's like sheer but long sleeve for the summer because I burn. And I realize Dolce & Gabbana is quite problematic, but this is a really beautiful like knit for, I would say, any gender. And I think that it would be a great summer piece to have over something without adding heat or a lot of weight.
So I looked at this close up. It looks like a linen. It looks, doesn't it? It's rough. It's not fluffy at all. So I've given some linen-esque style yarn to Colin, and he's going to copy it and try and come up with our own version of the Dolce & Gabbana mesh top there. So watch this space, because we might have that to wear in a month or so time. But isn't that great, just seeing that there? It's so clever. That looks like a row of yarn overs, and then what, just a one straight row of knitting?
And maybe a couple of garter stitch.
Yeah.
Because you need a little bit of structure.
Yeah.
But then it's, the yarn overs with the drop stitch for sure.
And then we've got one of my favourites. If I could wear Armani all the time, if I had the money, I would. There's just something about his style that I absolutely love. And look what I saw on the catwalk in this one here. Oh, I'm just going to make that much bigger. What a stunning, lightweight, floppy cardigan. But those cool sleeves that you've purposely rolled up, but it still looks floppy because the way they're sort of diagonally hanging. And what is it looks like a simple construction. Is it? I don't know. I need to get my stitch dictionary out to see if that sort of lattice exists.
I don't know. I cannot see it very well. I only can really see the silhouette, but I think it's pretty easy.
Try and make it bigger.
Oh, I see a little bit of, it's almost like fish scaly that's coming in.
Yeah,
no, it's incredible. It's
like big diamonds, and I can't work out whether there is some sort of cable there or rope. You know, where it sort of crosses over. You've got like a sort of a link, and then it goes up into a diamond. But I just love the shape of that. It just hanging.
Yeah, and the pattern of the knit actually reinforces the way that the fabric drapes on that. It's quite nice.
And the idea of the top button done up as well, but the bottom one purposely being open and relaxed like that.
That's what the cool kids do. That is too cool for me, man.
And the last one from Armani, which I love, is Crochet. Oh,
that's classic.
And
it's great.
Look at that similar neckline again. Remember that neckline we talked about with the the Dior, and now we're seeing it there again.
Yeah, clavicles must be in. Good collarbone for everybody to see.
There's nothing better than a collarbone, I have to say.
I mean, you can pull it off, man.
But that's trebles. It looks like it's just treble. I say just, but maybe let's blow it up as much as I can get. Sorry if you're listening to this on Spotify. It don't help much. But look, just trebles.
Yeah, it's a nice, good fabric.
And how cool does that go with the belt? That sort of I-cord belt.
No, it fits in well. I mean, it's styled beautifully. Little backpack and everything. I think that really helps.
It's just good, isn't it?
Frame everything.
Yeah. And the hat in the same colour as the straps of the backpack. It just... Oh. So there we are. That's what we're going to be seeing in summer 2026. You'll be in that on the beach. Which one would you be in out of all those?
I hate to say it, but the Dolce & Gabbana one.
Yeah, the mesh. Yeah, well, we'll get working on that, and we'll see how we do. Well, I say we. I've given it to Colin and say, hey, come on, Colin, be creative. He's very, very clever at that. Just seeing it, going, yeah, I can work that out, measuring it to me, and then I'll be able to show it off.
Very nice. I look forward to that. I might have to make one myself.
Well, if I get the pattern from him, he might write it up. Sometimes it's a bit, well, as you know, writing up pattern is another job in itself. Yeah.
I mean, if he could just tell me what the stitch repeat is, that would be enough.
I will make sure we do that. Okay, everyone, thanks very much. You know the drill. If you want to send in a question, the link is in the description below. We've got no more questions left, so we might not see you until September time when it gets cold again. I know it's high summer now, so not many people doing much. Well, other than me and Jimmy, we're still doing it. But if you are still knitting and crocheting, let us know in the comments. Drop us a question. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next one, whenever that will be. Cheers, Jimmy. Thanks very much. See ya. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.